right, guys, welcome back to the ALGS channel. Hope you guys are all doing well and having a great day so far. Yesterday's video did extremely well, and I was not expecting that level of support. So thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel, liking the videos. It really helps the channel to continue to move on as well and continue to make videos and content for the ALGS scene. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying, and thank you so much for showing that support. Today, we've got a lot to discuss today regarding some roster drama, not the actual roster changes happening, but a lot of explanations, a lot of calling out, a lot of false accusations that we need to discuss in today's video. Also, JMeyels giving a very bold statement regarding Apex and the state of the game right now, calling out the Respawn developers to stop and take a look at the competitive scene right this instant. So like I said, a lot to discuss. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date all things Apex Legends esports related. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this. So obviously you guys can see in the background right now, 1 versus 3 from Reps out of the Realm League. I mean, this was an insane play. Honestly, it's kind of hard to believe that these guys are, some of these guys even deserve to be in this league, because when you see him make the push on the Gibby bubble, like towards the middle right here, it's just kind of insane that they both kind of let him get past here, and they both get juked out. You can see right here when he goes for the slide, they think he's coming out of the bubble, and then they both get turned around. He just gets a free 1 clip on this guy, and it kind of makes it down to a 1v1 a lot easier for him. So, he's just really using his pro level mental state here of, I guess really forcing the situation that he wants. So that just kind of goes to show you what makes a pro and what makes just a good Masters player or Predator player as well. Nonetheless, that's not what the main video is about today. So I really wanted to make mention of this. We've had these little interviews right here from Fallout. You guys know, former ALGS caster as well, now doing Apex Rising stuff as well. A lot of, I actually DM'd Fallout yesterday just so you know, I'm really happy that the Apex esports scene seems to be going in a little bit better of a place, but it's not because of Apex itself. It's because people like Realm have made it exciting to play again, something new, something fresh. And now Fallout got the Apex Rising stuff. Going to make it feel a little bit more fresh. I really wish that Apex would take care of the scene like the community seems to be taking care of the scene. We've even seen a lot of stuff out of the R5 Reload, a lot of the modded game modes that are so fun to play. Why is it the community that's making those and not Apex itself? Nonetheless, in one of these interviews, Snipedown had actually made mention that there was possibly more to this whole story. Imperial How, it said that he doesn't think RamBeau is lying. It's just that it's like, it is kind of dirty. If I was Keon, if I was RKN, I'd be very upset as well with how RamBeau's kind of done this whole retirement thing, where Snipedown had basically made some kind of accusation along the lines of, you can't just retire and then start pumping out 16-hour stream a day after he retires streams as well. And so PvP called him out on it. He said, this statement coming from Snipedown. He said, I think it's easy to base assumptions when they are built off of lies. The endless hate RamBeau is getting right now is unwarranted in that aspect. Showing these screenshots where, he's talking about, March 30th, March 29th, March 28th, where he's talking about his retirement, talking about John Wick, talking about some other things as well. And then he goes to show his stream where you can see he streamed for on April 4th. He streamed for 6.5 hours, 6.5 hours April 3rd, 3.5 hours on April 1st, 2 hours, March 31st. So he's not been pumping out these 16-hour streams accordingly. According to Snipedown, he has been, but PvP shows that case was not meant to be true at all. And then PvP also responds, said the first time I talked to Beau was about a week and a half after his post. He said the first time that I talked to him was about a week and a half after his post. The very first thing he said is that he needed a few days to think on it, which he used to discuss with his family about even taking this opportunity of helping us out. PvP also said Beau doesn't owe any of you anything, and it's shameful the amount of crap that that has been spewed on him. Thank you for stepping up and helping us, RamBeau. And so obviously we didn't really see too much of a response here, but it is weird to know that there was a lot of discussion, a lot of accusations coming from RamBeau, and someone had actually made a point here saying Imperial How had explained it best. He posted his retirement due to family issues, which is completely understandable. But then whenever he comes back talking about how he couldn't miss this opportunity, so that statement makes it seem like he just used family issues as a lousy excuse. And then PvP basically just retweeted what he was saying, it wasn't necessarily this big opportunity for him. It was more of like, will you help us out? And so because Sharky kind of wanted to step away, and so I don't really know. Regardless, I think the main thing to cover here is that there has been this accusation that RamBeau was streaming 16 hours a day after he retired, and that was not to be true at all. Now, RamBeau actually did go on one of these interviews with Fallout, though, and basically there was like a couple tweets going around, and RamBeau kind of wanted to clear the air. He said, look, I own up to it. This is coming from the Reddit thread for competitive Apex. He apologized about the DZ situation. He said, I own up to it. I regret, and I wanted to get on here to clear the air. I'm genuinely so sorry for how I handled the situation, and if I could go back and do it over again, I totally would, but I can't. He also had a tweet coming from Fallout where he says, hot take, why did RamBeau really announce his retirement? And he quoted, I was going through a lot personally at the time, but I know that there are some people who think he's just BSing all the family problems that he's going through. I promise you, I'm not. Take a look at this clip of what RamBeau wanted to say regarding the community and their reaction to his retirement. Roll the clip.
Why'd you do that at the time?
Yeah, man. So I was going through like a lot personally at the time. Like a lot of family problems, unfortunately. I know there's some people who think that, I saw some comments like he's probably like bullshitting like all the family problems that he was going through, and like I promise you I'm not. Like within the span of, holy shit, man, like a month leading up to, it was like right before Pro League started, and then during Pro League started, I had my grandmother pass away. My grandpa was going through multiple surgeries for his cancer, so he wasn't doing good. My dad was thrown into rehab. Like just all kinds of other like family problems. So like none of that is bullshit. Like I was going through a lot. My head was in a horrible like space. It was like a really, really tough for me to like focus on really anything. I mean, my mom was, obviously very, upset and, was crying.
Was your mom?
So I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about all of that. Honestly, to some degree, I don't think RamBeau owes anybody an explanation, right? I think he's obviously not lying about the family problems. I don't think he would put his family members like, on the spot like that and say things like that. RamBeau obviously doesn't seem to be lying here. I don't think DZ was trying to, get him in the background. I don't think he was trying to snake his way onto this organization and get out of the Sentinels. I don't think any of that stuff was going on at all. However, at the same time, I think, Hal makes a great point. If I was Sentinels, I'd be upset too with the way that things were done. If Snipedown makes a great point that, retirement needs to have weight these days. People just jump into retirement after, they go through a bad, stage of their life and they need a break. Take a break. It's okay to take a break. Tell your teammates, I need a break, or I need to sit on the bench. There's people in Call of Duty who do that all the time. Like, a guy named Havoc over in the pro scene, literally benched himself for his mental health so that they can put a substitute player in while he benches himself. Like, that's totally fine to do. Take your breaks, take whatever you need, but you can't just like, decide, screw the game, I'm just jumping into retirement. Because I feel like deep down, and I don't know, I can't speak for Beau, but I feel like deep down, Beau knew he still enjoyed competing to some degree. And if all this stuff was going on and that was the confliction that he had, I feel like a break should have been weighed out way more than retirement should have. And I feel like way too many people are jumping into retirement these days and they don't even know if they want to retire or not. They really need to start taking breaks first and then decide, okay, did the break work? Do I really want to retire? Do I want to move on? Like I said, overall in all of esports, I think that's the biggest problem. I think all of this headache would have been saved if a break was taken first rather than just jumping into retirement. But also Beau did say, if he could go back and change it, he didn't handle it right. Obviously he would change it. So look, I don't think anybody needs to be bashing Beau here. Beau's got every right in the world to do whatever he wants to do with his life, and I don't think he was trying to be deceitful or have ill intent at all. So, but nonetheless, this is the conversation that is going around. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. Like I said, I understand a lot of the both sides, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Also wanted to make mention of this, JMeyels over from EA. I'm actually really glad Zach made this push because look, Apex overall has been in a horrible state, and we're going to be talking about this on my main channel today as well because I'm kind of ticked off at the way that Apex has handled something. So we know that the state of the game right now is horrible, right? Cheaters are bad, DDoSing's bad, ranked sessions bad, the ranked system is bad. Literally everything right now is bad except for content. Like, we have game modes, we have events, and I'm glad that that's happening. But we can't sacrifice the state and the health of the game for the sake of the content and money in the game. So we've been begging for content for years. We finally got it, but we didn't want it to be at the expense of the health of the game as well. Zach made this post on Twitter saying instead of pushing the game's content and progressing Apex Legends, we need to focus on what we have right now and fix what we have right now. Competitive is suffering. Ranked is suffering. Public matches are suffering. We have something so great that could easily have 5+ more years, but people continue to show up, and I doubt their numbers are dramatically falling because every single other video games suck. Video games are very stale right now. If Apex could nail what we got right now, it would take over. I'd bet it break records. Focus on fixing the game before moving it forward. I completely agree to some degree. Well, I completely agree, but I also understand another side of the aspect. When it comes to competition, when it comes to games, you can't really make the game survive when other games are going to continuously push new seasons, push new modes, push new objects, push new features, and Apex doesn't do that as well. It's going to suck. And it's not all about, like, I understand like the state of the game is important. And we all know that if people had a better time in general, they'd keep coming back. But we also know, like, from the state of business, from the state of marketing, if other games are announcing things and you're not, your game simply will suffer. You got to build hype to some degree, right? You can't just say, let's fix everything, let's make it better without any marketing or without any, branding in all of this, or without any pushing of an event. It just doesn't, really grasp onto the people. Now, I do agree that if on paper, think about it, if right now Apex had a much better rank system and there wasn't as much cheaters, and it was actually designed a little bit better, and it was programmed a little bit better, say if we actually had a permanent Storm Point World's Edge rotation for ranked or something, or something along those lines, where we actually had maps that were meant for competitive rather than playing people on Broken Moon, which nobody wants to do at this point. I think obviously that would be a good step in the right direction. Imagine if we had in-game tournaments where you could play. Well, imagine we're a Realm League, right? Imagine not having to go to a third-party system to play Realm. Imagine if Apex decided, let's throw $1 million this year into a solo queue competitive league where people can basically take on this competitive battle royale, but if they don't have a team, they can do it through our little Realm League, right? So ranked is nice and all, but you only get a rank. It'd be nice to have a league to compete in that is built in the game where you can go and just play your games there. Why don't we have all of these other great ideas that third-party systems are pushing out? Why don't we have that in the game? Imagine if we had all of that. Imagine if the game didn't crash. Imagine if we did have DDoS protection and it actually worked. Imagine if the cheaters weren't running rampant right now. Imagine if all of that stuff was going on. Yes, I think Zach is right. The overall game would probably take over competitively in the esports industry because there's just nothing that good out right now. And honestly, Apex has something so good with so much potential. But the problem with Apex is not its lack of creativity, it's lack of execution. It has all the potential right here. A lot of people that play Warzone right now know the potential's not even there. The game itself is not as friendly as a battle royale as I think a lot of the other battle royales out there. People don't like Warzone 2 as nearly much as they did Warzone 1 and when it comes to the shooters. Now, to be honest, in my personal opinion, I love Call of Duty. I love the new system. I like it slower. I hated all that slide canceling crap. But nonetheless, when it comes to numbers speak, my opinion doesn't matter, right? The numbers speak for themselves. People like the old one better. I don't think that Warzone has the potential that we have right now, or at least Warzone 2. I just really feel like overall Apex has the potential, but we are not capitalizing on it at all. And I really wish that they would. Interested to see what you guys have to say about that as well. Lastly, just as we close the video out, a couple of topics here. Genome for one, Split 2 20 bombs. These are the 20 bombs that have happened in Split 2. Notice for North America, dropped, Skittle Cakes, and Knocked. Yeah, all on the same team for Optic Gaming, by the way. Optic looking like a very, very clear favorite maybe for the Split 2 playoffs. Effect over in the MEA scene. I'm actually happy for Effect because I know he didn't get to play in the last LAN. And I'm very excited for him to be able to do so in the next. And then APAC South, APAC South, we had 1, APAC North, we had 2, and then South America, we had 4, which I wasn't surprised because I know South America is looked at as a little bit more of an easy region. But nonetheless, very nice performances out of all of these players as well. But I can't believe all 3 people from North America are all Optic Gaming. And then lastly, a little bit of Challenger news. So this was coming from Light saying Sky is still landing at Cascades and Fisher for all of Challenger Circuit. We are not leaving, and then we'll int your games over and over until you leave. I'm excited for this because there's actually been a lot of clips going out where basically you just cannot get away from these guys, and they win a lot of the times whenever they contest over here at Cascades and Fisher as well. So Cypher says that let's have some good contests, and there's a lot of clips going around where basically these teams just get salty after they lose the contest over and over and over. So interesting stuff. We're going to have some challenger scene coming up very soon, and I'm excited to see some of those games as well, to see who makes it out alive. And then also another looking for team, actually interested in this one, because this guy, believe it or not, is actually previous Grand Champs qualifier, and his name is 00 Negative. He's got many finals experiences, IGL, can any character, looking for flexible teammates. So this is one of the best things about pro players, people that can be really flexible. And if you're a one-trick pony, obviously you're going to have a very hard time in the pro scene, because you're going to have meta changes all the time. So someone who's very flexible here is going to have a very good experience and a very good time. So interested stuff to see here. This guy has got some beams, and I'm I can't wait to see him get on a team, because I know he's going to make some noise wherever he lands as well. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy, and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to stay up to date all things Apex Legends esports related. And until the next time, I will see you all later, Gators.